Hey everyone, welcome back to my vlog. I'm Robin, or Hobbit Reading List, and this week we are going to have just a chill day with a friend, and then, the usual week stuff, and then Saturday we're gonna go to a Pride event. So, I'm anticipating a lot of reading getting done this week, so let's get into it. Okay, so I have a very busy morning, and then I have a very busy work day. So, Nala, please stop grooming me. Please stop. Nala's just sitting, at my feet, licking my leg, and, normally I wouldn't mind, but I'm feeling very overstimulated since yesterday. So, I'm gonna put the B-roll, after this clip. But you will see a beautiful shot of Lake Michigan. And then you'll see a shot of my backyard. Because Stephanie and I tried to go to the beach yesterday because it was so nice. It was 83 degrees, sunny. It was going to feel amazing at the beach. If it weren't for the sandflies, or whatever they're called. But there were so many. We got set up, and while we were getting set up, we were sort of, had some flies around. There were so many, and they're the kind that they bite you. Blood was drawn several times, and so by the time we got everything set up and sunblock on, we were just getting covered. And so I went to see if in the pavilion they were selling bug spray, see if that would help. They were out because this had been happening to so many people. And Stephanie and I, one of the women at the pavilion had said that it was worse closer to the water, so I said that, and we tried moving up the beach. That didn't help at all. And I ended up I honestly ended up almost having a panic attack, which that was a first time in front of Stephanie. No, we hit another milestone in our friendship. So we just ended up going back to my house, setting up the chairs in the backyard, and then I pulled the sprinkler into the backyard. And we ran through the sprinkler a little bit, but it was cold. But it was fine, and so we ended up just listening to music and reading. It ended up being a good day. It just sucks because we both really love the beach. But we think that maybe because this has happened to her 2 previous times as well, and she had forgotten, but she thinks it was about this time of year as well. And so we think probably just give it a few weeks, and then we'll be able to go to the beach again. Because that was awful. But once we were home, I started reading. I finished 2 books. So I started reading The Lodger that summer by Levi Huxton, and the synopsis is very misleading. The synopsis is correct, but it only speaks about what is happening to one character. We get the perspective of 5 different characters, and that's not mentioned. So it was 175 pages. And as soon as the first chapter ended, I'm oh. Because I didn't know that there was another perspective, because no other character is mentioned except for that first one. But essentially, the real summary of this book is that there's a family of 3. The mother had died 8 months previously. So it is a father and then his 2 children who are twins and who are 18. They're still grieving the mother, obviously. It is set in Australia, and so it takes place over the summer holidays, which happens to also be Christmas. And essentially, the dad meets this guy named Carrie who needs a place to stay for a couple weeks, and the dad invites him to live with him and his family. And they get along really well. And Carrie is great. Carrie is almost too good to be true. And I don't mean that in a nefarious way. He does nothing really wrong. But he seems to be just what every character needs him to be. So it's again, it's not nefarious. It's not bad, but it is interesting. And at the end of the book, James, who is the son, he sort of makes a comment. He's like, was this just like a group hallucination? Because so the dad, the son, the dad's best friend who comes to visit, and then that best friend's son. So maybe it's only four. They all have very interesting interactions with Carrie. And I will say this is a queer book, and it is very sexual. So there's that. I don't want to give away anything else, because part of the interesting part was just going through it and be like, oh, I was not prepared for this. Because again, the summary is very misleading. But I did think it was interesting. If I had been prepared more, I probably would have liked it better. This is a situation where it's like, surprise is not necessarily a good thing. Because I read like half of it sitting next to Stephanie. I'm like, I have no idea like what is happening. Because it just, I was not prepared. So I gave it 3.5 stars. I'll say that. Because there were a lot of things I liked. There were a lot of things I didn't. There were maybe some like dubious consent kind of thing, which is not my favorite, especially when I'm really not expecting it. So, but it was really interesting. It was really interesting. So yeah, so I read that. It was a pretty quick read. So Stephanie went home, and then while I was making dinner, I went ahead and picked my next book, and my next book ended up being Heartstopper Volume 5, which, that, of course, I'm going to finish that in like an hour. Heartstopper Volume 5 is another progression in Nick and Charlie's relationship. They end up becoming more intimate, which I'm really glad, like, it was really strange to go from The Lodge of That Summer, which is very explicit, to Heartstopper, which is cute and fluffy and not explicit at all, which is good because it shouldn't be, because they're teenagers. But so it was just like a really like, kind of gave myself whiplash. But of course I enjoyed it. I've read all of Heartstopper. And so I really enjoyed it. It was very cute. I enjoy getting to see the part of Nick and Charlie's relationship where they're really dealing with like their future, because Nick has, I think, one more year before he goes to university, and so he and the other year 12s, I think, I don't know the English school system well enough, he's either year 11 or year 12, I think he's year 12, are like visiting universities and trying to figure out like where they're going to apply and everything, and Nick and Charlie sort of have to deal with the idea that Nick might not be so close around, which could be difficult if Alice Oseman wasn't so amazing and already gave us a sneak peek into their life like 10 years in the future. So they'll be fine. We also know that through Nick and Charlie, the novella, like they deal with that again in like a year's time, when like it's like Nick is graduating, but it ends up fine. So yeah, so it was really good. I gave it 5 stars. I love Heartstopper. Honestly, I think I've given 5 stars to every volume of Heartstopper. But I love it. And I know there's only one more volume left, which is sad. But anyone who's read the webcomic, you know, has seen that sneak peek, so it's okay. And we do have the 3rd season of the show, I think in October? I think. It's either August or October. I think it's October. I think last year was August. But, so there's that. Okay, for me saying that I have a very busy morning, I've rambled quite a bit. Today is also Chris and I's anniversary, and so I have to go to Meyer anyway, but I'm gonna just pick up some little cute things for our anniversary. We really don't do much, but he usually gets me something. And so I want to surprise him this time. So I'm gonna go do that. I do know that the next book I'm going to read is going to be Gloam by Lily Mayne, which is the 4th book in the Monstrous series. And I will fill you in about that later, because I gotta go. I almost completely forgot to film. So I haven't recorded since Tuesday, maybe? Or Monday night, whatever. It was after I finished reading Heartstopper. I didn't know there was a cat in the cat tree. So I read 2 chapters of Antiquity and Gotham on Tuesday during my breaks. It was really interesting because it was about the antique influence on museums, and then also the next chapter was about antique influence in like private homes, especially around the idea of having like a Pompeii room, which was really interesting because I was not familiar with that trend. So I'm like, what would that even look like? And I was sort of curious, and I'm still curious because I think I have 2 more chapters about like private homes, because there was an interior designer named Sleeper. I don't remember his first name. And he was from Gloucester, Massachusetts, which is where my family's from. And I went to his house last summer, and each room had a different theme. And so he would use his summer house, as a showroom for clients. And so it was really interesting. And so I don't remember seeing like a antique, like a ancient sort of inspired room. Don't remember. If I look back at my pictures, I would probably find one. But I very vividly remember like the frontier kitchen, which was really interesting. So I'm just sort of keeping an eye out, seeing like if he's gonna be referenced at all. He probably won't be, but it would be cool. So I'm still enjoying that. I think I have maybe 5 more chapters left, so I'll probably finish it by the time I go to the lake house next week, especially because I have so many breaks tomorrow. Like, I don't have that many meetings at all. I have 3, which is nice. I'm very happy that that's the case, but it does mean I have a lot of time to read. Other than that, so I originally was going to listen to the audiobook for 100 Boyfriends. I tried, it just wasn't clicking for me. I think 100 Boyfriends is something that I'm gonna have to read physically, which is totally cool. I'm fine with that. So I switched over to okay, because the next book was supposed to be 100 Boyfriends according to my spinny wheel of random choice, and because it was only 4 hours long, I'm like, well, I should go ahead and figure out what my next audiobook is going to be. So I had done that, and it landed on The Holiday Trap, which is essentially the plot of the movie The Holiday with Cameron Diaz and Kate Winslet, where they swap homes for like a period of time and end up meeting romance in their swapped places. It's a very cute like holiday movie. I really like it. So The Holiday Trap is essentially that plot but queer, which means I'm gonna love it even more. So I switched over to The Holiday Trap instead, and I'm really enjoying it. I'm 30% through. And I really like it. So Greta is a lesbian. She lives in Maine, and her family is like very, very close. They are so enmeshed. They are so codependent. And she sort of reaches a breaking point and complains to one of her friends named Ramona. And then Ramona also has a friend named Truman who lives in New Orleans, who just found out that his boyfriend of almost a year is actually in a long-term committed relationship with what is presumably his husband and has a daughter, and that Truman was the side piece.
So that is very upsetting to him. And he's like, I just need to get away. He tells Ramona this, and Ramona's like, here's an idea. You switch for a month. And so they do that. And they end up, of course, meeting people in these new places that are like, oh, you're really cool. So it's very cute. I really enjoy it. And because Greta ends up going to New Orleans, which is where Truman lived, I'm sort of getting a summer fix because New Orleans in December is still apparently like pretty hot. Which I've never been to New Orleans, so I didn't know that was the case. So I'm still getting summer vibes in like half the book. So I'm like, okay, this is nice. I kind of like this. So yeah, I'm really enjoying it, and I'm really looking forward to tomorrow when I can listen to what will probably end up being like 4 hours, because I'm still commuting to work, and then I'm going to temple, and then I'm coming home. That's about a 3.5 hour journey for the day. And considering I listen to audiobooks at, well, through Libby 1.25 speed, I'm gonna get through a decent chunk tomorrow. So I will not promise this, but I wouldn't be surprised if I finish it Sunday. So that's cool. But yeah, so that is pretty much all the reading I've done. I will be starting Gloam by Mayne, hopefully today. But I'm going on a picnic with Stephanie because we're so cute. And, you know, we're going to hang out in a park for a couple hours and eat and probably read. So yeah. So I'm going to go and head out, but I will let you know how much reading I get done. Good morning. I have a feeling Bastion's gonna knock the camera over because he's insistent on hi, hello. Can I record, please? Thank you. Hopefully the camera will stop being shaky soon as he lays down. No, he's gonna scratch himself. Lay down. Okay. So I don't know if it's showing up. I got sunburned on Thursday. After Stephanie and I went on our picnic. I don't know why neither of us were like, I'm gonna bring sunblock. But like neither of us thought of it, and we both got very burned. I think Stephanie only got burned on her shoulder, which is good. Because I got burned everywhere else. Like I have a V here and on my back because of the shirt I was wearing. My face is sunburned, and most painfully, the sides of my legs, including my knee. So every time I bend, particularly my left knee, it does hurt quite a bit. I've been putting like the after sun lotion on it, and that's kind of helping. I think it's helping heal a little bit faster. It doesn't hurt as much to stand on my left foot. But yeah, we both just had a massive brain fart. We won't be doing that again. I'm taking Stephanie and Temple with me for Saturday service, and then we're going to the town that I work in for their Pride Fest because my boss sponsored part of it, so we get a table to promote our business and her husband's business. And so I'm bringing Stephanie along for company, but also to help. But I brought the after sun lotion and I brought sunblock, and we're gonna bring her umbrella. So I'm just like, okay, hopefully it won't get worse. Because I don't want to go to the lake house next week, sunburned. But anyway, that's not why I popped on here. The reason I popped on here is because I actually finished reading Gloam by Mayne. So I started it during our picnic and pretty much read it the rest of Thursday because my spinny wheel had told me to read, and I set the threshold. The threshold was 19 chapters. I'm like, okay, and then I asked Siri to pick 1 through 19, and she picked 18, and I had already read 8 chapters. So I'm like, okay. And then as like the day got on, the extent of the sunburn started showing up, and I just did not want to do anything. So I'm like, all right, I'll just read. So I got to the third to last chapter. So I read the final 2 yesterday at work. I really enjoyed it. So Gloam is the 4th book in the Monster series, which is about this post-apocalyptic setting where monsters have come from another world into ours, and the middle of the US is essentially, it's called the Wastes, and it's no man's land. Essentially, it's abandoned by the military because it's so dangerous. It's safer to live on the coast, but that is controlled by the military, which is its own thing. But the people in the Wastes, and some people who weren't necessarily in the Wastes but have transitioned, end up meeting monsters that are like not just like mindless killing machines, and not that they're machines at all, but like they're not these monsters that, you know, they've been told. Some of them are just, you know, like essentially feral animals. But some of them are like totally fine. They just have extra oomph about them. And these monsters end up meeting human men that they fall in love with. So that's the series. And so Gloam is about Rig, who is the best friend of one of Ghost from the previous book. He meets Gloam, who was captured and is being held against his will by a collector. And Rig decides that he can recognize that he's very attracted to Gloam. And so, but he decides to help, you know, break him free. And so this involves him going with the collector to work for her in order to buy more time so that he can free Gloam. And in the meantime, they, you know, get to know one another and they fall in love. And it's very, honestly, it's so fucking cute. It's adorable, especially for the amount of gore that's in this book. I think it was way gory than like the previous books. Although it's been a while since I've read the previous book, so maybe I'm just not remembering quite as much. But it was the relationship between Rig and Gloam is adorable. I love it. It's so cute. So that's kind of, yeah, that was that. And I gave it 4.5 stars. I really enjoyed it. The next book in the series, Moth, I might read this month, depending on when I finish my TBR, because at this point it's a when, not an if. I have, I'd say like 5 books left, and it's just now like the 2nd week of June. It's the 8th. So I'm like, yeah, I think I'll be okay. I think I'll be fine this month. I'm on track for my reading goal for the year for the first time. So feeling good about that. The next book plus I've been reading them like pretty much within a day, and that's not going to change because the next book I'm going to read is 100 Boyfriends, which I'm going to read in the physical book, and I think it's only like 150 pages, maybe. So it was a short audiobook, so it's gonna be a fast read. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Oh, I've listened to more of The Holiday Trap. I'm 67% through, I think, and I'm still really enjoying it. I will say I like Truman's story more than I like Greta's. I feel like Greta is at a different stage of emotional development than I am, especially when it is related to family and how much control your family should have over you. I am someone that looks at family, particularly extended family, but also like nuclear as well, as like, yes, I love you because we are blood related and family, but if I don't like you as a person, I won't hang out with you. That's just what life has taught me. Greta is not at that stage. She's getting there, but it's kind of annoying. And I say it's annoying just because it's like yesterday I listened to her have this thought process of like she went through every member of her nuclear family, her sisters, her mom, and her dad, and was like, oh, this person, you know, if I make this decision, this person will be totally cool with it. This person will feel abandoned. This person will get angry at me, but they would get angry at me no matter what. My mom looks at me as an extension as herself, and if I make a decision that's different than she would make, she's very disappointed. So she goes through her entire family, and I'm like, yes, growth. And then she's like, but I can't do that to them. I'm like, why not? You literally just outlined what's going to happen. And it sucked, and that is a reason that you should do it anyway. And so it's just like, it's just a little frustrating. I do like her story. I think Greta and the love interest, Karis, are very cute. Karis is helping Greta make that emotional decision. And I get it, it's not an easy one. But it's just a little annoying to hear it every chapter. Whereas Truman and Ash, his love interest, very cute, very wholesome. And he is also having a realization emotionally, but I think it's just different because I'm not like that, and I didn't have that growth, and so it doesn't bother me as much because it doesn't seem as obvious. I'm like, yeah, that'll be hard. And so maybe I'm not being fair to Greta. I can admit that and still be annoyed by her. I think I'll still like it though. It's not a main, it's not like the it's not a major thing. It's just a little bit like yesterday when I was driving home, I was like, okay, come on. I can't snap. I don't know. But yeah, so it was like, but that's just because of my personal experience. So I'm not being fair to Greta. I can recognize that. I still recommend this book. I recommend it later in the year. But like I said, like having it set in New Orleans actually makes it very feel very summery. So okay, so that's it. I am done rambling now. I'm gonna go pick up Stephanie. We're gonna get going, and at some point I will start 100 Boyfriends. Good morning, everyone. You can really see my tan line right here. Yeah. So I did get a little bit more sunburned on Saturday at the Pride event, which that's fine. Like it's all on my back. Like as of right now, my worst sunburn is on my back, both from Thursday and Saturday. I'll definitely be staying inside today because it's a little bit rainy. Well, it's cloudy. Anyway, I'm gonna really try not to get sunburned again, at least until, we leave to go to the lake house. I mean, I'm not gonna try to get sunburned there either, but, I'll be going outside. Anywho, I did not want to film a clip to update you on the progress of my sunburn. I finished a book. So I finished listening to The Holiday Trap. Overall, I thought it was really cute. I know in my last clip I had some kind of complaints about Greta. I can't say that stopped being annoying even by the resolution. I'm happy with how the resolution happened. I'm happy that it happened. It just felt like there was a lot of back and forth about it when I don't feel like there needed to be. But overall, I was happy with it. And so I don't want my complaints about Greta and her family to be taken as I didn't like that half of the story. I did like it. I just didn't like it as much as I liked Truman's. Truman and Ash are fucking adorable. And I want them to be happy forever on this little island in Maine with their dogs. They were so cute. So I really enjoyed it. And I think that having Greta's story there was a nice balance for Truman's. I don't think that I would have enjoyed Truman's story by itself. So, and plus the plot, like, just wouldn't work. Like, you're gonna holiday swap, but I only get to hear one half of the story. Like, that wouldn't work either. So I'm really glad that I read it, even in June. Like, as I think I had said before, that like having half of the story set in New Orleans sort of like satisfied that summer vibes that I want, even though it was a holiday story. So I can't say enough. I really liked it. And I think I will definitely, obviously, be keeping it. I probably won't reread it, at least this year, for the holidays. But if I feel like I need a book that I know I'm going to like, then yeah, I would definitely reread it around the holidays, just for the cuteness of it. So I gave it 4 stars. It was really good. Add it to your like holiday reading list. Yeah, it was nice. It was really nice. I'm really thankful that Stephanie got it for me during our like book exchange last year, and I don't know what else to say, really. I liked it. I've said that probably like 7 times already. So that's about it. Like, my face is really tan. Or not really tan, but like tanner than usual. It's not really tan at all. Yeah, I'm tired. It's cloudy outside, and I have a lot of like prep work that I have to do before we go to the lake house. So I'm gonna end this vlog here, especially because I didn't read anything else yesterday. Like, I opened up Antiquity in Gotham in between meetings, but I just wasn't feeling it. So I didn't read it. I think I will try to finish that before we go to the lake house, though, just to have it done, because I only have 4 chapters, so we'll see. But thank you for watching. I'm really happy with how much I read this week, because I finished 4 books. Yeah, I finished 4 books. So that's pretty good on a week where I thought like I didn't do anything. So thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. If you want to leave me a comment and say hi, or let me know if you've read any of these books or have them on your TBR. If you like the video, subscribe, click the notification bell, all that jazz. I'm gonna say it all the time. I appreciate it so much. And make sure you keep an eye out for next week's vlog, because we will be going to a lake house, and it will be hopefully with lots of reading, but probably with just lots of antics and tomfoolery. So, bye.